Debbie Albrecht, you're the Chief Administrator here at the Public Library, and it's always good to come and catch up with what's happening both inside and outside the library. So, busy season. What's on your mind most these days right now?
Well, these days, I'm trying to figure out how we can finance the interior remodel of the building.
So the exterior's done.
The exterior's done. The complete metal and redoing the roof and all of that. We are now energy efficient. We are not leaking anywhere. We have beautiful landscaping that the Friends did for us outside, and right literally before the snow fell, we got the parking lot done. And we now have a drive-through drop box, which is everybody's favorite. Quickly,
for those that may not remember, how old is the building and how long did that project on the exterior take? Because it involved a lot of planning and a lot of people.
Right. The building opened in 1976, so 38 years ago. The actual project took about a year, but it took many, many years of planning and wishing and how are we going to finance. And we've managed to do it all out of our operating budget. I mean, we've had to borrow, but we're paying for it out of our operating budget, so we don't have to ask, go to referendum and ask the taxpayers for more dollars, because we know everybody's money is really tight.
And I assume you're pleased, as is many of the community, with the end result.
Yes, I think it looks beautiful, and it's efficient, both.
Plus, I think you said there are no more leaks inside, so that means now you can start doing something inside. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, since this building is 38 years old, the uses of the library have changed over those years, and what patrons expect when they come to a place like the public library is very different than it used to be. We don't have any study rooms, or small spaces where people can study quietly on their own or have a meeting with a group, and we desperately need that. So that's part of the plan. A maker space, which is a creative space, anything from paper crafting up to doing audiovisual and television and making a CD. So we're going to start to explore a space like that as well.
Big project, and what are your expectations within the next year or two, and will this be an extraordinarily expensive project as well?
It's going to be very expensive. Everything always costs more than you wish it would. We just have architectural drawings done, and we got a ballpark figure for how much it's going to cost. So now we know the Cadillac price, and we know what we need to raise and to figure out how we can do this. I'm hoping to have it done in the next couple of years.
And also without additional millage requests or anything like that?
We will not go for referendum again. We might have to borrow money. We might have to sell municipal bonds, which we did last time. But then the payback of that all comes out of our operating funds. So
facility-wise, inside, outside, things are picking up, looking up. You've also been a master at trying to manage a whole technological change within the library. How are things right now? Is the library state-of-the-art, and what is that challenge like being faced right now by your staff?
Well, it's really hard. I mean, we have like 75 computers in the building, between staff and the public computers. And right now they're all very old. So we are in the process of upgrading them all to new computers. At the same time, the staff needs to constantly learn new programs, how to run everything, how to help people who come in with their various needs, whether it's doing a resume or doing a job search. It's a process of lifelong learning for the staff, which is something that we're really trying to invest in right now.
So it's not only the technological equipment itself,
right,
but it's upgrading the training, and that's also an investment on the part of the library and its staff. So technology is not just things, but it also means training on the part of your staff. How do you keep abreast of that?
Well, that's something we discovered about a year ago by doing an EDGE assessment, a technology assessment that we were lacking in, that our staff really didn't know as much as we hoped they knew. So we've addressed that by doing peer-to-peer training, encouraging people to take classes out of the building as well as in the building. We realize that we need to be at least a little bit ahead of where our patrons are so that we can keep bringing them forward into the new things that are out there that'll help them to do what they want to do.
A huge challenge for those that have that old image of the librarian who just sits behind the desk and tells people to be quiet. Now you've got active librarians who've got to be there helping and serving people all the time.
There's a lot to try to remember, and I think it's hard for us sometimes. Not one person can know everything. It's impossible. There's just too much to know nowadays. So we're trying to get to like a base level where everybody can at least know the basics computing-wise, and if they don't know how to do something, they at least know where to go to find out how to do it. That's our job.
On that technological side, some time ago you were one of the first libraries to introduce a kind of new version of the library card, which has some capacity beyond just the library.
Yes.
How is that going? And maybe you could explain that a little bit more.
It's going slow but well. The whole card it's a library card on one side. And you flip it over and it's a Visa debit card on the other side. Now, you can always just use it as your library card. It doesn't ever have to be anything more than that. But if you have need of a debit card, this is a very affordable way to do that. And the reason we decided to do this, we're the second library in the country to pilot this program, is I know there's a segment of our population that can't have a checking account, has bad credit, or for whatever reason, they need to rely on a currency exchange. And currency exchanges have expensive fees. It's an expensive proposition. This is a lower cost version of that allows you to do all of those things, but it's much more affordable. And the library does get a little bit of money back on it, but that's not why we did it. It's a very small amount. We did it because we think we can help certain members of our town to have a service that they really could use.
Would you say it's also a way that parents or grandparents can begin to teach management of money to their young people as well?
Absolutely. I think it'd be great when you have someone going off to college, you can put their spending money on that card and you can see exactly what they're spending on it. So it is a wonderful tool, and the card company is also working on us being able to give these to kids who are 16 and older. So it could be a very valuable tool even in high school, because we all need to learn how to use our money wiser.
So if I have one of the old library cards, can I just come in at any time
and we'll exchange it for you?
And exchange it?
Yes.
And that's the best thing, just to come in and
come in and see us.
Handle it that way. Though for those who are efficient in the use of the internet and technology, some time ago you had talked about the buy it now thing. If people are shopping, they can also benefit the library in some way. How does that happen?
Right. Amazon has been good partners with the libraries. If you go to our website page, right on the home page, there's a button. It says Buy It Now. You click on that button, it takes you right to the Amazon site, and you can do whatever shopping it is that you want to do, from books to the kitchen sink, literally, on Amazon nowadays. And we get a portion of that money back because you shopped through the link on the library site. So it just gives us a little bit more money to buy more materials.
Okay, so now when I'm going to go shopping, rather than start at the mall, I start at the library, is what you're telling me.
That's right. Think library first.
A whole new era for
definitely
a public library. Now, in addition to having a facility that houses, books and services like you've done and the technology, you've also really worked hard, and your staff, at programming throughout the year. Tell us what's happening and what is coming up here at the library.
Well, we have lots of programming for all ages, seniors to infants, lots of different things. Two new things are Be in the Know and Community Conversations. Both of those are aimed at getting the folks in town to be able to understand what it is that the various departments do in town. What is their job? What do they really do? What are they responsible for? In the Know is held during the day, usually Friday mornings. And community conversations is going to be something that happens whenever we think there's a need for somebody to know about an issue in town. Like
So more ad hoc, is what you're
right.
saying.
We just had the Park District here to explain about their referendum. So the idea is libraries are supposed to give people information. We want people to have the facts so that they can make informed decisions on things that affect themselves and their families.
So those are two significant service programs. You also do music, entertainment. So as the holidays are coming up, what's on the docket here at the library?
We do. Well, right as soon as the new year begins, the flyer's already out. People are asking. Our winter concert series begins. That Friends of the Library sponsor that series every year. I believe this is our 5th year. And this year it's going to be on the second Friday from January to April.
Second Friday of each month.
Yes. So they start at 6:30 and the doors open at 6 o'clock. And we have 4 wonderful concerts set up. Peter Prisco, he does kind of a tribute on the 20th century music from Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra, all those, you know.
So a lot of variety.
Even Doris Day. Got to throw Doris Day in there. And in February we have Classic, and they're a local duo, and they do rock and ballads and pop music. And then in March we have Visible Music College, who's a wonderful new addition to town. Very talented students they have there, and they're going to bring a group over. And then we'll wrap it up in April with the Twisted Root Trio, and they do Southern rock. Anything from jump, rockabilly, blues. So that should be a fun way to end it.
Now, do I have to get online or come in and buy tickets for something like this, or how do I attend a concert like that?
You just show up the second Friday of the month, and we'd be happy to have you.
And how is that? How is the new inside remodel perhaps going to impact those future programs? Will there be a little bit better place for that, you're thinking?
Hopefully, when we get the remodel done, part of that plan is for us to have a portable stage that we can pull out and set up that'll be raised off the floor so when folks are sitting, they can see. Because right now, we just, we improvise, and you can't see very well if you're sitting in the back, but the stage will be up. We're even going to have stage lighting. So someday it'll be nice.
That's part of the experience at the library for right now. We used to all sit on the floor when it's time to read a book, right?
That's right.
Now, for those who have been watching this for these few minutes, they may be thinking, every now and then I'm seeing that really weird-looking thing next to Deb there that doesn't look like it belongs inside or outside the library. So talk to me about this little house that's right here.
Well, this is a little free library.
Ah, so it is a library.
It is. It is. A company in Wisconsin called the Little Free Library started this program several years ago, and these things are popping up all over the country and all over the world. And we were lucky enough, I won one of these. So I was very excited. I just had to go down to Chicago and pick it up.
All right, now you've got to explain that because you're out there gambling, and so you won one of these, or how does that work?
No, it was in I think a state library newsletter. The first 50 people would get one, so I threw my name in there and I got one.
Okay.
So they're adorable, and the deal is you fill them up with books, and you put them in a prominent spot. And
take a book, return a book, it
that's
says on there.
exactly right.
Okay.
So the hope is that you will borrow a book to read, but if you have a book you've read, you'll put it in there for someone else.
So where will you put this little free library?
Well, as soon as I got it, I knew where I wanted it to go, and I wanted it to go at Park Plaza, right by the benches, right by the garden and the sidewalk. So I went to see John Wilson at the Park District, and I asked him if he was willing to put it there, and he said absolutely, and he's even going to put it in for us. So we're pretty excited that that's where it's going to be, right in the center of town.
So hopefully within the next few weeks, people can take a book,
Yes.
put it in there, and then sort through the books that are in this little library and take one home if they like.
Right.
But is the library still connected in some way? You kind of managing what's there, or
Yes, we'll
what's
keep
the-
an eye on it, and we're lucky enough to have our friends group that holds used book sales every month. So we have a supply of books that we can make sure that there's always something in it for people.
And if it's successful, we may find a few more of those little libraries around town. Is that what you're
Yes,
thinking?
I think that would be wonderful. Some people put them in their front yards.
To kind of wrap up what you've talked about inside, outside the library, I know from what you've said over the years that at the heart of what Lansing Public Library represents, it's the people. You've talked a little bit about trying to have your staff remain current and state-of-the-art when it comes to technology, but what do you want to say about the staff here and the experience for people coming to the library in terms of connecting with your people?
Well, we hope everyone that works here, their main job is to help the people that walk in the front door. And that's what we're dedicated to doing. And we have a really wonderful staff. A lot of folks have worked here a long time, and some newcomers as well. But we love to work with people. We love to help them in whatever it is that they do. And that's our biggest challenge and the best thing that we do.
Well, speaking as Channel 4, we always love walking in and interrupting you because you always receive us well, and there's always a neat story to tell. So thank you very much for giving us this little inside Lansing look inside the library. And we hope to be able to come back and find out what's happening with the inside remodel soon, okay?
That's wonderful. It's always good to have you here.
Thank you very much for today.
Thanks. Can I tell you one more thing, Jerry?
Oh yes, what is that?
I want to put a plug in for the Lansing Historical Society.
Which is also housed at the library.
It is. It's on our lower level. They're a hidden treasure of Lansing. Every year they do what they call a Festival of Lights, and they decorate about 40 Christmas trees from around the world. There'll be a German tree and an Irish tree and a Polish tree. And they do a wonderful job. And it starts usually the Monday after Thanksgiving and runs through the month of December. So please come and visit them. It's wonderful. It's just beautiful. You'll get some inspiration for decorating your own house.
One more reason to come on down to the library, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Debbie, once again, for the second time, thanks for letting us come here and giving us this inside Lansing look inside the library. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.